Hello there, Applebites. This is your Applebite Written Writ Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. A show where you and I and you get creative and have fun. And tonight we got a lot of people hanging out with us and having some fun. Of course, you know our friends here hanging out with us, Casey, Jonas, and Sky.
Hi.
Hello.
And of course, Mr. Frank Destefano.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Howdy, folks.
Ralph, before we go any further, I have a question for you. How long did it take running this show before you were able to get through repeating Written Writ like 6 times in a row and not stumble on it?
Well, here's the thing.
That would trip me up.
Here's the thing.
Oh, it's like your last
I actually started doing videos on how to write. So all that practice happened in those videos that I would record and put up. So by the time the show came on, it was already hello there. This is Written Writ Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. And as you can see, it's already like this jargon that I do. And actually, it's the whole thing is let's see if I remember it. Well, hello there. This is Written Writ Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ, a show where you and I and you take a journey to become better writers.
Ah, very cool.
It's a good pitch.
We had a similar situation, but it would with Jonas's last name and Casey never practicing it. Maybe the first
50
that was I didn't want to say a full 50, but it was.
It was it was exactly 50 because he only figured it out after the second break. I think maybe it was the first break. Might have been 30.
I gotta say, I had trouble just typing your name.
Exactly. Doing it just from ever reading it is not easy.
Yeah, Casey, do you want to set the record straight on how to pronounce?
Yeah, how do you say it, Casey?
All
right.
Yeah, see, I know it now.
You didn't want to give us an old kid cheer.
3 years.
In college, I got the nickname Tinsel Sniffer from someone who couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we were a polite group in high school.
I gotta say, my name is simple. My last name is Tavares, and I used to make this joke when it was appropriate, but now it's not anymore. Well, not that it's bad, it's just that anytime I say, yeah, just like the band, all I get is crickets, because you haven't heard about them in a while. But I would get many pronunciations of Tavares. The weird one is it's a simple Raphael or Ralph, and I constantly get my name missaid, and I'm like, dude, it's like Ralph. It's like the most common name out there.
It's not hard.
I don't think I've ever run into that trouble with Swanson. I think one time someone thought it was like Swenson, and to this day I don't know if they were trying to fuck with me or not.
They must have just misread it.
I think so. Still, that was very funny.
Frank, how badly do people mess up your name?
It's not messing up my name. It's spelling my name.
Okay, yeah.
So many D-I-D-P.
Yeah.
I
can imagine.
So you can spell it, but for the most part, they sound it. They know how to say it. It's just spelling it,
Yep.
But I mean, mean, if you can't spell it, I mean, it's right on the cover of the book.
Oh, what a transition!
Oh, that was perfect. Ooh.
Sorry,
incredible.
it just went right in there. It was just too easy. but I mean, like when I work for my my job with Coca-Cola, a lot of people for the most part have known me for years. So it's like, even new people, when I bump into them, they're like, "How do you spell your name?" And I go, and they always go with D-E. So they know, it starts with D-E. I said, so I go, there's like 3-4 different ways of spelling it. I'm like, yeah, I said, but that's a common way, at least from what I've seen anyway. I mean, instead of the S, you could put the P-H instead of, so, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, listen, there are names that I wouldn't even begin to attempt to spell, but
I gotta say, I've never had a problem with Destefano, but I was raised with Italians, so.
Oh man, we're gonna get along then.
And when I moved into the neighborhood that I moved into when I was a kid, we were the third Spanish family in the neighborhood, and it was an Italian neighborhood.
Well, I mean, then you're gonna be switching a lot of food for pasta. Absolutely.
Yeah. And now when I walk around and I go to places and I like pasta, people go, "What the heck's wrong with you? You're Spanish."
That doesn't seclude you from the joys of pasta.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Actually.
Dude, I used to work in the hospital in the kitchen, and every once in a while would get people that would come up to the table, and they're like, "Oh, what do you guys have?" We got lasagna, and they look at me like I had two heads, and they go, "What's lasagna?" And I'm like, "Oh,
I don't even
man.
know what lasagna is. Ugh.
All right. Since we're all talking Spanish food, right? Because I love Mexican.
What?
We're talking Italian food.
you're talking Italian food here."
We're all talking fucking
I know.
Mexican
I'm
lasagna.
Italian, right? So I have to ask, because I have this argument with a lot of my friends, Spanish, non-Spanish, whatever, right? Moe's or Chipotle?
Moe's all day.
Yeah,
That's
I
easy.
like Moe's
Oh,
better,
I'm-
but I usually end up at Chipotle just because there's not a lot of Moe's around me.
The damn
It used
Moe's
to be Moe's all over
where
the
I
place.
grew up
Yeah.
closed down.
Oh, you guys
And that was an
suck.
establishment.
You guys-
We would get high at that Moe's and they tore it down.
Exactly. It's a conspiracy because all the Moe's are gone.
They're all going away. Chipotle is so corporate.
hadn't-
And it just it doesn't feel as
And
good.
they're
as
union
a
busting
Moe's.
too. Keep that in mind.
Are they really?
Yeah.
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 Moe's? Oh, I didn't know that.
No, Chipotle.
Oh, Chipotle? Are they?
I have
I
no
don't know
idea
about Moe's.
Moe's stance on Mo. Let's find out real fast.
That's what this show is now
Stance
about. It's about
on
Moe's versus
union.
Chipotle.
All I know
It's
is that Moe's is disappearing, so I figure that their stance must be a good one.
Well, there's a
Hey.
lot of places that are disappearing. I know Big Lots filed for Chapter 11.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot of places. It's sad just to see places close and establishments, restaurants, whatever. Times are tough. So
I mean, I will say I'd rather see a local business than probably another chain of Moe's.
100%.
Yeah.
But you want to see the mom and pop places do well.
yeah.
Establishment.
That's the nicest part about living in a city like Baltimore. None of the chains want to come here because Fox News has done such a great job making this place seem wildly dangerous. So all we have is local places to eat, which is pretty great. I won't lie. It's awesome.
So since you're in Maryland, I'm actually going to Maryland this weekend.
Ooh, all right. I'll see you at my place.
I don't know how far I'm going compared to where you're going. I don't know where you're going.
Where are you going to Maryland?
Yeah.
I'm going to Fright Reads Book Festival.
I don't know where that is.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Hang on. Let me
That's
pull it
cool.
up because I got the picture on my phone. Hang on.
Fright Reads Book Festival.
Hang on. Let's see.
Let's see here.
oh, wait,
Where
hang on.
are you at?
Hang on.
September 28th and 29th. I will potentially be available.
Benchfield Sports Center. I don't know where that is in Maryland.
Benfield? Oh, it's in Millersville. Okay, then.
I like how you were so shocked and surprised. Like, uh-oh.
He's like,
No, it's
what
just,
is that?
didn't
It's
know.
like I'm in the
Hey,
same state.
I didn't know anything happened in Millersville, to be honest. Just thought it was kind of an empty, used lot.
Apparently, book festivals.
No, I'm joking. I couldn't tell you if I've actually ever been to Millersville. It is south of me. Is it south of Annapolis? No, it's kind of in between. It's Jonas. We could meet in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. It's a book fest for horror, I'm assuming, from the name.
Yeah, I tried to get, to be honest with you, I found it last year late, and I was like, oh man, I gotta start doing more book festivals because I do more Comic Cons. Like, I think this is my like I've done about 50 or so Comic Cons, right?
Oh my god!
And
Impressive.
This is my first book festival. I know it sounds terrible. Right? Like I've done.
I mean, good to branch out.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do. Like I live on Long Island. I know you guys were mocking Long Island.
Only because one of our cast members lives on Long Island.
I think we were making. I don't think we were making fun of. I think we were making fun of Staten Island, weren't we? I don't think we were making fun of Long Island.
Oh, it was Long Island because Andrew was getting on it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I can't believe I would make fun of Long Island. My grandparents lived there, so I visited Long Island. Yeah.
It was with love. Yeah, it was with love.
It's
come on. We all make fun of Long Island. We still go there.
Long Island.
Yeah, everyone on Long Island, from one end to the other, are just united in love.
I'm sorry. There's love on Long Island? Excuse me?
We wouldn't be from New York if we didn't make fun of everything around us.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Well, listen, if we don't make fun of other things, it means we don't have a great sense of humor, right? You find humor in
Unless
things.
you're making fun of yourself, which is
I do that all the time. I do that all the time, but like when I first started doing the Dark Legend and started writing and stuff like that, I didn't know which direction to go because I got like a lot of literary agents turn me down. Can't imagine that happening in the literary world. No, that doesn't exist, So I was like, and I'm a New Yorker, so I mean, that's how I met Ralph, because we talk about it, we bring it up from time to time. Like I met him at a Comic-Con called East Coast. What is it? East Coast Comic-Con, right, Ralph?
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
No, I know it doesn't. See, because me and Ralph were there, it doesn't exist. We put it out of business. No, but I met Ralph, and and like I give kudos to like you just going to different cons and meeting different people that I see, becoming friends with different people, right? But like this is the first book con I've ever done, and I tried to look on like I missed one in I think it was like the end of July. That was right in where was it? Over at CW Post on Long Island. I missed that one, and I'm trying to look around at least to kind of
wait. They have a con at CW Post.
It was called I missed it.
Post-con.
It was called Gold Coast Book Fair or something like that. Look it up. Type it in.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, but because CW Post is right there, so it's easy to get to. So I'm like, okay, I don't remember anything over there.
Yeah, it was like July 27th or 28th was. It was like a Saturday, Sunday, and I happened to see it late. I'm like, oh man, that would have been perfect. I could have driven a half hour, in there. But there's another one that they have, but that's all the way by Shadow, right? That's all the way. There's one.
Shadow's on the tip of the island.
Yeah, he's East East Hampton. And I think there's like a book fair somewhere in the Hamptons. I don't know which one because there's 3 different ones. But I tried to think about trying to mix it up, right? I got the Dark Legend series, and then I have a suspense thriller, So I'm trying to mix it up to at least bring it. The Comic Cons I do well with, with the Dark Legend series. That's where I built my following, and I've done some heavy ones where people will be like, wow, you got into that one. So I do MegaCon. This will be my second year doing MegaCon. It was my best show, and then I did Fan Expo Boston. Like I'm trying to mix up some book fairs and and stick to the Comic Cons. So I mean, I even I went for the mother of all shows too. I applied for San Diego.
Well, that's a dream for everybody to get to San Diego. Wait, I got a question for you guys. How many cons have you hit? Because I know we met you at Long Island Tabletop and Gaming Expo. Have you guys done more than one?
That's the only one we've tabled at. But we went as a group to PAX Unplugged last year, and I know a bunch of us are also planning on going again this year.
Nice.
Still no table or anything like that at that particular con, but hopefully at some point.
What about PAX East? Don't they do like PAX East? Like
yeah,
PAX East. And what's the other one?
Recently, actually.
There's another one that's in Connecticut. Who runs it? It's run by Terrificon. It's Mitch's. He does two shows. He does Terrificon and he does that show, and I forgot the name of it. It's like a gaming con too. It's like usually February or March, something like that.
Which one you're talking about? And there's more and more gaming cons actually happening.
There are. They're popping up.
Or you can barely find one. You'd have to hit one of the major ones like PAX or
Boston. Maybe that's where. Yeah.
Are you guys? I mean, besides attending, are you guys planning to hit any other conventions anytime soon? Because it's always a good place for people to get to know you guys, especially when you guys have a table.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, we are still kind of looking into other cons that are near us, like our cast being split in 2 different states or 3 different states, technically.
Makes it difficult, yeah.
Yeah, to get everybody together at least. But I mean, we're probably going to be looking into tabling a little bit more next year. This year was our first foray into it, so now that we've got a taste of it, we want to keep going.
Where
foray.
Do guys live?
Foray,
I mean,
good foray.
Sorry, they're just making
fun of me. Go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
Frank. You're on.
Where do guys live? I mean, I know. Sky said that
where are you guys all from? Yeah,
Jonas and I are in Maryland.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if Jonas wants to get more specific than that. I'm in Baltimore.
Yeah, you already outed me as Annapolis.
Oh yeah, that is true. Jonas lives at this address with this one. No. And then Casey lives in a closet in Queens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice little shoebox.
Nice little shoebox
closet.
And then our other cast members who are not with us right now, Seth is also in Bmore, Rachel's in Jersey, and
Andrew's
Jersey is on Long Island.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are a little spread out. I mean, about 3-4 hours away from, where you guys,
So I get it. It's not impossible.
But we've done it before, like we did at the Expo.
Yeah. No, you gotta, no, because like if I could try to find cons that were like somewhere in the middle for you guys, because
that's a good idea.
I mean, for you guys, like a suggestion for you guys, like if you got, obviously you're planning for 2025, so look on a website called FanCons. FanCons will list every Comic-Con and every gaming con, and it's a really it's a very useful site.
Look at Frank using
I think
the
my dream con would be the Pennsylvania State Fair, right where they do the cow rodeo, and then next to the fried Oreos. That would probably be my dream.
Fried Oreos. Hey, don't get me started. I mean, those things are good, man.
Oh, they're
You
good.
know.
They do stop my heart for approximately 30 seconds, like legally dead. But then, like I get back up and I eat another one.
We just went to me and my wife just went to a local one, that was right around, this is the time where you have these great book, these fairs all across, for the fall fest and everything like that. And we had some fried Oreos and bought them, and man, and we got some lemonade that was just like made on Long Island. I'm like, oh, like I forgot to take the business card. I'm like, man, and the fried Oreos and lemonade. I'm like, oh, it was like we went Sunday, so it was a nice day and everything. So, it was fantastic. Like going to these fairs are fantastic.
I
And then
love
I'm
a
like
little bit of
walking.
sugar with my sugar.
Yeah.
It's good. That's
The
good right
lemonade
there.
was
Sugar,
Exactly. Yeah.
I got your insulin up around the corner.
Get the sugars.
Oh my god.
but
So
I
wait,
mean,
I feel like we're talking and the audience is like, who are these people?
Oh,
Yeah,
we
I
haven't
got us
really
on a
done
I won't lie. I
very,
was
very
in there
long
being like,
tangent.
just like piecing together, be like, all right, Frank writes books. Okay, he's been to a lot of places. Like, who the is this guy?
This is all my fault. I do apologize.
Sorry.
no,
Sorry.
but
That's what happens on the show all the time,
yeah,
you know.
100%.
So,
But we
so Jesters, let the audience know who you are, what you do, all the good stuff. Give them the spiel.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to start, go for it.
Sure. So we, as a whole, RP Jesters are an actual play TTRPG show. We've played a variety of different games, from Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition to Delta Green to Monster of the Week, and our current game that we're playing right now is our second season of Vampire the Masquerade, run by the lovely Jonas Tinsenzer. New episodes every Monday.
I like how you
We've all got the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Oh,
we all got the coordinating backgrounds.
I was like, why are you hiding beneath your
I'm not trying to hide. I'm trying to show the background, but it wasn't working.
Is your chair? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was show the background.
Yeah, there you go.
But
nice, good.
Yeah, my name is Casey Reardon. I'm one of the producers, GMs, and cast members on the show.
Hi, yeah, I'm Jonas Tintenzer. I as Casey said, I'm running Midnight Gravity. I'm running Vampire for us, which has been one of the most fun and fulfilling campaigns I've ever had the pleasure to run. I also
if you haven't listened to season 1, do that.
Oh my god, yeah, season 1. Listen, we're starting season 2. It's a good time to catch up and get on the ride with us. We've got, I mean, also just like aside from like the good roleplay, which a lot of excellent roleplay, we've got like original music. We have like some crazy
Shout
like interwoven lore.
Banger tracks.
Yeah, Seth and Rachel, some lyrical songs.
Oh man, if we could, I would share that Icons track tonight, because holy shit,
yeah, that's a good wait on that one, but that is excellent. But yeah,
that's gonna be my ringtone though.
We've got, absolutely. You know, of course, original art you can see. Like we do a lot of promo videos and stuff, clips all the time. Like we've got a lot going on with this show. And then I am also the lead editor on actually assembling the voices into something listenable. You would not believe how many.
Saying that I'm not listenable.
No, it's mostly Sky, because he spends anytime Sky isn't role playing, he mutes himself and then he goes into his mic and he's just like, "Hey Jonas, I'm leaving you a present here. I'm just gonna keep talking for 30 minutes."
Do that, yeah. I do leave Jonas the occasional present.
That's funny.
Sky, introduce yourself.
Right, I'm Sky, financial liability at RP Jesters, hemorrhaging money constantly for this company.
Wow.
I don't know how true that is.
No,
but...
I'm their good time boy right now. I don't really have a job with them other than to talk.
Well, I have to ask this because
he's talent. He's talent.
I've been trying to get a game together for the guys, and we're gonna do it like remotely, because a couple of us are in different places.
Yep.
How does that work? Because I've seen the shows, and I know the shows is a ton of editing that they're doing in order to, unless they're live, there's a lot of stuff happening in order to make those shows what those shows are. So how do you make it happen? And before that, how does it happen while you're doing it? Because I know it has to be distracting, because it's distracting when you do it in person.
Well, we got to maintain the lore that we always record together. There is a long table that
extends into the
through
closet.
the door into the closet that I live in. And everybody sits around the table.
That closet.
Yeah, we're
but
still waiting on some more 5-star
holes.
reviews. I got an air hole.
Yeah.
We'll drill a hole in that door, folks, for every 5-star review.
What we actually do is we get into Zoom to record, because Zoom pops out individual audio tracks that we can sync with.
Oh, nice.
And then we also sync our own local tracks for the correct mic quality. And then we just played like this over video call, which like I personally not a huge fan of digital tabletop gaming, but seeing everyone's faces and like everyone being in the moment, like that makes it almost as good as being in person. And mechanically, we usually we have played on a couple different online VTTs, or occasionally none at all, because there isn't one. So like Monster of the Week and Hell Night, we just use PDF character sheets and roll with real dice. For Vampire, we are using Roll20, because as far as I'm concerned, and I've checked out a number of different VTTs, it is the best vampire virtual vampire option. I don't love it. It's a still, I mean, Roll20 is imperfect. It's got some clunky issues, some slow, but it is because it's such a big game, it's just so handy to be able to just drag and drop features from the compendium. And it handles the dice as well, and the dice are kind of a finicky system, so it automatically calculates all the important things, and you just plug in some numbers and do it. So yeah, we're on Zoom, and then occasionally we're looking at Roll20 for the dice and the mechanics.
Yeah, the biggest thing.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, one of the things as well is like the fact that we are recording this for a show is helpful as well, in terms of not stepping over people. Because like that is something that we try and specifically check ourselves on, is to not talk over people as much, and just like be aware of who in the Zoom call wants to speak, either by raising their hand or some other means, so that there isn't a lot of that crosstalk, because virtually it does not work.
It's all about finding that right flow with each other, making sure that nobody
interrupts. And the thing is that because we're doing an edit,
I was talking there for a moment. Can you not shut up?
But also because we don't one other, like, personally, I'm biased because I am the editor. I'm doing the editing work, but like I also think that the fact that we edit so heavily is one of our best selling points, because we cut out all the downtime, we cut out all the weird sounds, we cut out the 15-minute like what do I get bonus dice from this thing for that thing?
Really good at the rules of the game because of Jonas.
we can tweak, if we need to correct something, we can. If I need to, those times when people do talk over each other, like I can pull them apart. A huge amount of my editing workload on every episode is pulling apart a joke, because like obviously something funny will happen, 3 different people will tell a joke and you can't tell who's laughing at what, so I get to actually I let everyone's punchline come through. Yeah, and it becomes funnier, and suddenly everyone's laughing at even more things, and it's great. I make us seem way funnier as well as way more competent.
Yeah, usually
we're always hilarious,
but Jonas will drag the laughs to their jokes. So
I have had to do that once or twice. Not for a joke that fell flat, but just for one of those jokes that gets lost in the shuffle, and I'll have to go grab
Andrew,
a laugh from
all the time.
else. Yeah, Andrew gets trampled a lot, unfortunately. So I have to pull him out and then grab a laugh from somewhere, so we know that it was something funny. We weren't just ignoring him.
I gotta say, as an editor, I don't know how you do that. That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
It is a lot of work for sure. It's a big workload, but I really do enjoy it. It's creative and like creatively open while still being like routine and mechanical. So it for my brain, it just works. It clicks perfectly. It's a great job.
Well, that's a good thing, because, as long as you guys are enjoying it, that's what helps it out. And I can tell you guys are enjoying the whole process. I think what comes across, especially with you guys, is there's a passion for every little bit that you guys are doing, and it's not just one bit of it. You guys are having a passion for going to the conventions. You're having a passion for the role play you're doing. You're having a passion for hanging out together. It comes across, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the nice things is that this is a whole group that loves to role play. This is definitely not a group that's like, man, I can't wait that we got to a combat and we're gonna be here for 2 hours. I move 8 squares and I attack 4 times. Like, this group really doesn't care about that. Other than maybe Seth. Seth loves a little combat.
I like the tactical side of things, but yeah.
All right, well, you shut up.
I'm saying a thing here.
No, I like some
the role play
too.
over. Yeah. The role play is definitely the main draw.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
Vampire too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Vampire is not a combat game at all. But I remember when we started this podcast and we were like, when Casey and Rachel were interviewing cast members, and they were like, "What do you expect to get out of this as a like a product, as a show?" And I was like, I mean, it'd be nice if we were successful, but I kind of just want to play more games with my friends. Yeah. and I got in, so here we are.
Because that's one of the biggest detriments of any RPG group is scheduling, and we have made it an official thing that we have to play every Monday.
Oh, it's so good.
But it makes sense now because you got the excuse. I mean, you got the thing that you guys have to get together.
Yeah.
I love that because it's like, okay, we have to get together because we're doing the show. But at the same time, it's almost like a way to get you guys to get together and play the game.
Yeah, and it's nice because also we're not overly with the way our schedules work. If we don't record on Monday, there's a low chance that we're going to be able to record any other time. But since we do doubles, as well as since we've been extremely lenient. Like if somebody's like, "Hey, I have dinner," I have an important dinner that night with my family, or "Hey, I'm going to be on vacation." There's never been a "Can you make the recording work?" It's always like, "Okay, you do that."
We've always made it work.
We've always made it work, and I don't think we've missed a week
of release. No. We've
never missed an episode. Yep.
We've never missed an episode.
3.5 straight years.
Yeah. Has it really been 3 years?
It's been 3 years.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Doesn't feel it, does it?
I'm a different Sky now.
Now, how long are the recordings that you guys do? I'm assuming depending upon things you guys talk about and everything. I'm sure it goes many different directions.
So yeah,
pretty consistent.
It's consistent right now though, because we are building up a little bit of bonus content now for the launch of our Patreon, which will be happening in October. For those of you here in the live,
good plug.
But we're trying to build up like an after show as well. So our our longest recordings tend to start at 5:30 and they go until about 10:30 because we are essentially recording 3 episodes.
No, not 10, 9:30, 10 o'clock at the latest.
It's been 10:30.
That's because we started late.
Like I said, longest.
But yeah, we record about an hour 20 per episode, and then that gets cut down to about an hour. So we usually go for an hour 20, 10-minute break, hour 20, 10-minute break.
Which is another thing that we kind of pride ourselves on as well, is we only have hour-long episodes rather than some other shows that will have 3-hour-long TTRPG episodes, because not everybody's got that time.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, people binge our show for 3 episodes, so it doesn't really necessarily
it's equivalent.
matter.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But we are able to maintain, I think one of the reasons we're able to maintain that consistent episode coming out every week as well is because they're hour-long episodes.
Yes. No, we 100%. If we were doing 3 hours, we would not be at all.
Yeah.
I gotta say, because sometimes some role-playing sessions, we'll go hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
One of the biggest, like Andrew was talking about this when he finished his run recently, and I had to learn this when I did my first show. And Sky, I don't know if you've ever talked about it, but one of the biggest adjustments to make for the show is fitting a session into an hour.
Yep.
Because all of us are used to home games where you play for 3 or 4 hours at a time and there's a lot of downtime, but like you gotta come in with an intro, you gotta make sure everyone gets a character beat in the episode at least once, and then you gotta hit them with a cliffhanger. Like every episode, you gotta make sure that there's a tight 50 minutes of content with the intro and outro on either side.
I never really had that much of an issue with it because I've just always been really good with like timing and like I don't know, specifically like the ADHD that I have is like already breaking my day down to like 15-minute increments. You know what I mean? So turning that into like single sessions was like, I said I would do 10 episodes and we did 10 episodes. Last episode went over an hour. I think it ended up being an hour.
They always do.
The finales
but they always do. The finales always do. We give ourselves leniency with that. But one thing I've always been good at in those sessions is just like, oh, we don't have time for this character, rip him out, throw him away. You know, like just get rid of the whole man. Just throw out the whole man. They don't need to do this. We can copy paste something else, control cut, get rid of it. It's gone. Maybe it'll come back. But I never really.
I was just gonna say, like, I've always been the GM to overplan in any game that I've run, where like I always anticipate something taking a shorter amount of time than it does, because whenever you're playing with people, it always role play always goes longer, or people just get sidetracked by something you weren't anticipating and everything like that.
All the time.
See,
which I love as a GM for a couple of reasons. One, it means my next week's amount of planning goes down, but in terms of like keeping everybody on the reins of the story that you're telling, especially if you're doing one of our shorter shows where you have like a limited number of episodes that we're really trying to get it in, like that's I think where more of the difficulty would come for me.
So here's the question.
I underplan because I know that you can't say the word, but you little weirdos are going to want to talk to Peepaw the floor planner for 2 hours about his retirement.
Don't name him Peepaw. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Don't name him Peepaw.
That's what I was about to ask, because we all know as DMs that sometimes the players are going to go in a whole different direction. And I understand that you guys are like trying to keep this to the hour, which is where it gets kind of difficult for me, because it's kind of hard, because sometimes they go in a whole tangent that you weren't expecting, and then you got to figure out how to go with them so that you can get the game to go the way it's supposed to go. How does that work for you guys?
They've changed my entire story before, so it's fine.
I think you really got to talk to those two about that, because I don't give them the options.
It's really, I mean, I've always been, not always, but for 90% of my GMing career, I've been a very improv focused GM. So I am pretty easy. Like I just don't. My planning is I just know everything that's going on, and I know all the characters that could show up, so I just can pull from wherever I need to. So I'm very flexible in going that way. But like also credit to everyone who's playing in the cast, because 90% of the time, we all still like, again, I don't want to imply that we're not playing an authentic game, because we very much are. There've been plenty of choices that have surprised each other and the GMs and stuff. But still, everyone is like, okay, we are recording a show. We do have an hour to do this. They know to kind of go along with whatever's going on, right? And that's not unique to the show either. That's any good RPG group should generally, like, if the GM presents you with something, follow along. Not, you don't have to follow a railroad, but like it's the social contract of like, this is where the content is. Like, we're not going to piss them off by just leaving the city and going somewhere that isn't related to what we're doing at all.
But I wanted to go to that place that you haven't planned at all.
Yeah. So even when there are, that's another, like, as well, like, Casey, you ran D&D where like you started with, here's a world map, all your characters from different places, and then it was on you to kind of, tie those things into the path we were following. Yeah. For something like Operation Frozen Dark, which was one very small town that was specifically hemmed in from all sides, or Midnight Gravity, which is like, Vampire, you're almost always in one city. Like, it becomes even easier to if they do something unexpected, you can.
That's the answer I was waiting for, because we all know that if given the chance, they're gonna go do whatever they're gonna do. But I hear what you're saying. everybody understands what you guys are doing, so they're gonna try to play along with what's going on, so that to make it happen the way it's supposed to happen.
I wouldn't say the way it's supposed to happen, but to make it happen.
Well, I think also, I think one of the points that Jonas made that I really like is the fact that the GM is presenting you with the thing that they think is the most interesting, and you kind of have to trust them on that a little bit.
Yeah.
By being like, well, if this wasn't interesting, they wouldn't be mentioning it. So let's see what the interesting thing is. Like, obviously, especially in Midnight Gravity, all of our characters have very niche things that don't necessarily have to do with each other that we want to check out, and we always will eventually have time for that.
Right.
But the thing that's being presented is it's kind of the thing that is binding all of our characters together for that moment.
And if not to like toot my own horn too much, but for Midnight Gravity as well, like because vampire is such a complicated political web, no matter what road you go down, you're gonna stumble into something else. Like it's all tied together.
Live in a society.
Yeah. Sorry, you were about to say something, Sky.
Oh, I mean, I totally agree with what Casey was just saying there, and it's just a group of people that really know to give each other the moments when they need it, which is so wonderful. And I think there's one thing that bothers me the most when playing D&D with players is when someone's doing something and another player goes, "Oh, that's interesting. I'm there too," without really
that
asking
happens to me all the time in my
and it's like, it's totally, it's fine if it's like a silly scene. But one of my favorite scene is just Timothy was in this Underdark, played by our good friend Seth, who's on the show, wonderful player. And Jonas, and he went off on his own in this like underground area. And it was very clear that he was about to have like some crazy revelation down there. And Jonas went, "Oh, but does anybody follow? Like, did anybody think to go after Timothy? Because we had all gone on ahead." And people were like, "Yeah, but they got halfway." And then they were like, "I stop here."
Yeah.
Like, I don't go totally with him. So what it resulted in was Seth and Jonas just having this wild batshit scene. Sorry. That crazy scene. That was so unique and so perfect for his character that really like blossomed into a bunch of other things. But in that moment, it wasn't just Seth and Jonas that time, but it was also Casey's restraint.
Yeah.
That really shined there. Of Casey found this person and was like, "I'm going to focus on this and let Seth have that scene," which is so great at a table. Even as someone who's like totally not involved at all, just be like, "Yes, it's happening. Yes, it's happening."
And it's also, it takes, as GM, like I try to see those moments as well. And I'm sure I don't always understand when to tie those things off, but like you have to, you stand on the, what's the word? It's like a seesaw almost. And you're like, as they push down, you push back. And if someone does want to tag into a scene where they don't belong, you got to be like, okay, we're going to do the scene first that this person wants to have. And then you come in after that and see what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because there's always room for that. There's always room for another person to be in the scene with you.
Yeah.
Not
it's a social game
experience at the table. It's a social game. And if we're all in the same house and I'm just a floor down from you, of course you're going to come downstairs by happenstance sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, in that moment, it was just such a great moment of restraint from other players. And it was, because it was important to all of us. That revelation was really big to all of us. I won't say what it was, and we all could have been there. But the fact that it just happened to Timothy was like, beautiful.
But that makes sense though, because even as people, we know that when we should jump in, when we shouldn't jump in. We have cues where, even if you're in the area and that whole thing is happening, you have an idea of when you should jump in. And I feel like sometimes when we're playing our characters, we kind of forget that all that stuff is still in play. And, these characters are doing human things they're doing things that happen, and they're doing these things, and everything's supposed to make sense in this world. And sometimes I walk in and doesn't make any sense. Why are you walking in?
Or just timeline wise, you were doing something a distance away for the amount of time that this other thing was also going to be happening, but now something, you're not the focus of attention, so you have to jump into somebody else's scene. It's like that's not fun. Let the other person have their time. They gave you yours.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a hard balance, especially as a DM, because
Yeah.
you know at the same time the last thing you want is to the group to go, let's split up.
Yep.
Not Midnight Gravity. In Midnight Gravity, we are constantly apart.
All the time.
It's fine.
Really, the only I feel like the
It's
only game
fine.
that we've played where it's been like everyone needs to stick together is the D&D game, because D&D's mechanics
Yeah.
really lend to everyone being together.
Yeah.
Especially if somebody accidentally
agree with
starts a
that.
fight.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
the
oh
fight
my
is
God,
usually balanced for all of you.
Yeah, not one
exactly.
of you. It's funny that you say that, but you know, when I was doing Vampire the Masquerade, it's a
CR3.
whole other thing. Vampire the Masquerade is completely role playing. It's good, and you don't want to get into a fight, especially if you're by yourself, because you have to think about all that stuff as you're playing the character.
That was a point I emphasized.
Timothy wants to get into fights.
You can build. I mean, I play that character in my Sunday night game that inspired me to run Vampire. But that was something I emphasized when we started the Chronicle. Was like, hey, by the way, just like I know, like everyone had played narrative games before, they weren't strangers to it. But I was like, just so you know, combat can there's no like set combat in Vampire. If you piss someone off, they will fight you, and they are probably better at it than you. Like anyone who survives long enough in this world is a monster. So don't trigger any fights so you can't win. And then of course, whenever we do get into a fight, I roll terrible, and
it's so funny.
Go down in 2 rounds.
Jonas has the best luck for us, not for themselves.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, because there's a direct line of power between age and power, basically.
Yep.
And I think our oldest coterie member is
Matthias, I think.
And you're only like 80, aren't you, or something like that? Or are you older?
He's 120.
Oh wow! Okay.
He's also the weakest type of vampire. So
one.
the oldest full-blooded vampire in the coterie is Antonio at 100.
Yeah.
And it's not just older vampires who are stronger as well, but like the game makes a point that when you go into the extended lore of the World of Darkness, which I love pulling stuff in from, vampires are kind of at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of raw power, where like they have a huge amount of social influence. They can hide and influence like no one else can, but everybody else in the world, werewolves, changelings, mages, every other type of supernatural creature can completely destroy a vampire in a one-on-one fight.
We still really need to talk about werewolves, Jonas, for potential future. Set in that same universe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You've totally
potentially set in the marshlands of Maryland, which I'd
love to do that. Would love to do that.
I gotta say, I know exactly what you're talking about, especially with Vampire the Masquerade. And it's always funny to me because it depends, and we all know this. It all depends on how old your vampire is, what generation they are. And it's always the given. Oh, the werewolf or this whatever, they're gonna do whatever. And when I was doing the big game, which is the one I did on Yahoo Groups, where I put everything together. You had a lot of these thinkers coming into the game like that. They go, well, I'm a werewolf, so I'm going to rule this place. I'm like, yeah, but you're coming into a game where you have 5th and 4th generation vampires. We're talking a whole other game now.
Yeah, it's completely it very much is like multiple different types of game in one system.
Yeah. Oh my! I love role play. We can talk about it all this time. So the Patreon, you guys are starting this when?
So the plan is to hopefully have it launched at the beginning of October. We have pretty much everything all set up for it. We're gonna have, I believe it's 5 different tiers, but for some reason I closed it out. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 different tiers. Ranging from $1 a month to $20 a month. We could theoretically go over what you get with those tiers, but I mean, you can look at it later if you like.
Yeah, come find us.
Come find us later.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do it yourself.
We also
we got some cool rewards. We got all the bonus content we're making.
Woo!
We also have a live show coming up if you're in the New York area.
Yes.
Yeah. So next Tuesday, if you're listening to this tonight, while it's out, Tuesday the 1st of October.
There you go.
So same day
That's
as the
important to
Patreon
say.
launches.
There's a lot of people rewatching. I know you're rewatching. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for Patreon, $200 tier, and I'll come to your house and drink liquor in your bathtub.
But yeah, on the same day that the Patreon is supposed to launch, we have a live show at the Brooklyn Game Night over in Industry City.
I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah. We're going to be playing a one-page RPG called The Stars Are Dead by Kangaroo. It is like a sci-fi horror game where your light is your only real strength. If you don't have light, you are very likely to get hurt and do poorly. So yeah, if you're in the area, Brooklyn Game Night, the show starts at 7. So if you want to show up a little bit before that, we have like several different means of audience participation as well, including a wristband that will link you to one of the players, as well as tickets that you can you get one raffle ticket with your entry ticket that you can use to influence the show in like 4 different ways, and you can also buy more of those raffle tickets if you want to increase your chance of getting chosen. But it's just a $12 ticket is the base ticket that already gives you participation in choosing some of our players' characters. You'll get to potentially give them the ability to re-roll if they do really poorly and you don't want them to die. And then with the raffle tickets, you can enter into like name an NPC. You can name some different spaceships. You can use those tickets to possibly come up on stage with us and roll a big inflatable die. And you can also, there's one instance of being able to role play a character.
Ooh,
love it.
So there's a whole bunch.
I'm happy that you spoke about it, because I was like, I was going to ask you guys, how does this work? So I'm happy to explain the whole thing.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to be playing the game, but one of the reasons you would go to a podcast live show is so that you can interact with what is going on. You can become a part of the story as well. And regardless of whether or not you get chosen for the raffle, you will still be able to impact the character that you are linked to in different ways through like a voting mechanic, basically. Also, we encourage people to come dressed up because it's October. So we're going to be dressed up.
I think they should be dressed up even if it's not October.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
You get away with it at any type of con.
That's true.
You know, at a gaming con or a Comic Con, or maybe not a book con, but you know, maybe.
Hey, I've been to some book con,
but I mean,
and I've seen Sherlock Holmes, and I've seen so you know. I think the book con.
Well, that's very true. Good. The ideas that you guys have collectively are like amazing, you know. Like, I mean, you know, I don't have time to, but just like sitting here and listen to all these different interactive and ideas and stuff like that, and how you just go with how you build your character. That's really great, you know. That's really awesome.
Yeah, a lot of effort goes in behind the scenes to make these shows happen.
Sure it does.
This is our first live show, and we plan on doing many more, both in the New York area and down in Maryland with the Maryland crew. So this is just the first iteration. If you missed this one, there will be others. We promise you that.
Go check it out, folks. And you guys got a video that you guys want to show off too, right?
Yeah, Jonas says that, I believe.
I do. Oh, fuck.
Oh,
and it's already going.
I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that. Go ahead, Jonas.
So swearing. Hi. Yeah. Let me. I was going to set it. Oh my god.
Don't worry about it. It surprised the hell out of me too. So I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. So sorry. So this is a little background. So for Midnight Gravity, one of our players, Rachel Cordell, who you can see staring at the camera right now, is playing a Toreador, and specifically I won't spoil some specifics, but a musically themed Toreador. She's the leader of a goth rock band, and she's been the character's name is Mars, and she's been doing a bunch of different types of band over the years, disguising herself every couple of years to,
change it up.
To change it up and not get found out as a vampire. And Rachel and I have worked extensively on the background of that character of all those years we've kind of played through. And she was just inspired one day to make a music video for this song by Mother Mother called Arms Tonight, which she just felt the lyrics of really captured some pretty crucial story beats for her character. So she, in a very short amount of time, honestly, I was very impressed.
Yeah, it was like what, 2 weeks maybe?
It was like 2-3 weeks from like conception to we are shooting, and then another week to edit. And so, but yeah, she wrote, she also went to film school with these guys. She wrote a shot list and rented a space and cast some actors to play some of the SPCs from the game, which for me, that was like, oh my God, they're real. Like they came out of my head and they're real. And Rachel's head, of course. She is the one singing the cover as well. I should say that she had some friends make a backing track and sang it, and did all the production design, all the costumes and sets, and I'm going on too much.
Nice.
But this was our first promo thing for season 2. So that is all.
I think you can play it.
All right. Let's back it up. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah,
that was really good. Really good.
It's so, I truly, Rachel and I both talked about this where when she first pitched this, we were both like, internally, I mean, of course we both very into the idea, but she was like, we were both just like, is this going to come out good? Is this going to like look, is this going to make sense to other people? Like, is it going to come out? And when she showed me just the rough cut, I was like, Rachel, this is absolutely incredible. Like, you've blown it away.
It's really awesome.
It's pretty good.
Now we need to get one of Reggie singing "Putting on the Ritz."
But yeah, that's Rachel Cordell. She was with us last time we were on the show here, but couldn't join us tonight. But yeah, that was, I mean, 90% her brainchild. She wrote, directed, produced it. I'm so proud of it and of her. And yeah, it's you can see so much of the love and care that went into Mars's backstory in that short 2 minutes. It's incredible.
It's also a great commercial for you guys. You know, it's something to physically show the audience. Because sometimes I know it's more about the you guys are talking heads doing the role play, and at the same time you're characters, but this kind of brings it more into the physical realm.
100%.
Yeah,
it's one of the as an audio podcast we can only get so far with clips and art, and that is. Like I said, when she sent me that, the first thing I saw of it, other than like behind the scenes photos, was that a picture of the shot with the three of them, the three band members, as they're holding her back. And my first thought was like, oh my God, they're real. Like I've never
crossed the digital plane.
It's such a cool, like I'm a writer and it's so cool to see people like, I've written plays that people performed. I've written like that stuff is cool. But this was a whole different level of like, wow, these characters that I have like built with Rachel and portrayed for months are there on the screen. They're looking at me and they're mad at me for some reason. And anyway, I could gush forever, but
but that was a great commercial for you guys.
It really was
showcases the passion, the everything you guys are doing, and should keep up the good work. I mean, I when I met you guys at Tabletop, it was your passion and energy that caught my attention. And I was like, okay, I got to go talk to these guys. And even from that first interview, I was like, I got to get them on the show.
I am so glad to have met you at that con. You were such a delight to talk to, and I'm glad we built this relationship. Yeah,
it's crazy too. Like that being one of our first like real steps towards the massive growth that we've seen over the past couple months, even. It's wild to see like this thing that we've been working on for 3 years finally starting to like really get a lot more recognition with this music video has gotten us a lot of views. We've gotten a lot from like just even having this live show. So it's awesome seeing like the effort really start paying off a little bit more in the viewership, which is great.
Also, the cast of that video, Rachel's been telling me that the guy who plays Elliot in the video he listened to the whole season 1 to prepare for the character. And,
oh my God!
Yeah, he's following along now, and he's like texting Rachel.
Is he a method actor as well?
No, he apparently was very sweet.
I hope
but
not with that character.
he's been like, Rachel gave those actors a little bit extra hidden information to play the characters, and he's been texting her with she's been sharing all his like crazy theories about what's going on. It's great.
Nice.
Oh, that's fun.
See, I love that. I wish the Marvel and DC would allow people to actually get into these characters who have been around for ages, but sometimes they don't allow them to like they tell them no, don't read the comic, no, don't watch anything. I feel like that's all that important, especially when you're creating these characters.
Yeah, we built out for every character. I feel like I'm talking so much. I'm so sorry, but for every
you're good.
For all the coterie members, with everyone,
I another beer while you talk.
I went. I played one-on-one sessions with every person, including our guests when they came on, to kind of run through like a brief overview of their characters' personal history, because these are vampires. They have decades of history.
Exactly.
Except for Sky's character, who has months of history. And
hey man, we made a real dent.
and well, that's the thing, is like for everybody, like it was something we hadn't done before for the show, something I hadn't done for a campaign before, but it gave everyone so much more weight and place in the world, and it gave so much life to some of the interactions. I don't know where we were in the show the last time we came on, but there is an episode in the middle of season 1 where Sky's character Reggie, being the newbie on the scene, asks like a lore question about a real thing and all 4 of the other characters present were able to not just explain the lore for me, like I didn't have to say anything for 20 minutes, but they were each able to give their individual characters' experiences from that event because they were there and we played it out, and it was so cool. Yeah, they've all
asking like what the hell Elysium is.
It wasn't Elysium. It was the Week of Nightmares.
The Week of Nightmares, yeah.
Oh, that's so. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because Sky didn't know what that was either, and everyone else was talking like they knew what it was.
Didn't play it for Sky. Yeah, no, it was so that kind of stuff is. I mean, you could do that with any type of game, but I feel like for Vampire, it's a different level because there is that need of history. Yeah,
and it's important, and especially in Vampire, because that history it's important in all role-playing games, but in Vampire it really has gravitas to it, because this is what makes your character, and it's so funny because I've dealt with different types of people who play the game, and when you get the D&D guys that come in, that don't do that with their D&D characters, you already go, okay, wait, you need to do some more, because if you don't do this, then I'm going to have to take care of certain things while we're playing the game, and it may not be what you want from your character.
Yeah.
So you really need to sit down and realize what this character you want him or them to be.
Yeah.
So I get
our cast, and I'll say especially Sky, but everyone in our cast has been very good at. Another thing that I warned everyone going, it was like, Vampires, like, it's a dark game. Like, bad things happen to you. You got to be okay with losing control of your character.
I love horror.
And everyone
talk horror all the time outside of the show.
Everyone in the cast has done such a great job of inviting the bad things and just being like rolling with the punch. Like, yeah, it's just a bad brawl, and you just got to work through it. But Sky especially has been very, you can see Reggie there behind them, the purple one. There's terror in those eyes.
They're a mess.
Well, actually, there's smiley faces in those eyes. If you
shut up.
That is true. I do love that. It's so fun. Oh, it's so great. Oy. No, it's been fun. How much of this horror aspect that we're going there. I mean, Frank, you were talking about doing some horror as well, weren't you? Or something like that. I feel like we've introduced ourselves, but I don't think we've gone to Frank's introduction at all.
Well, the good thing is Frank is like our guest host, because Frank's usually on the show.
Okay.
Frank, go for it, Frank. Tell the people who you are.
Yeah, I'm on quite often with Ralph, and I'm all over the place, so he puts me on. So yeah, it's just chilling and listening to you guys. I'm dropping the new book, The Dark Legend of Foreigner 3, which has been 7 years since it's coming out since the second one. But hang on,
perfect time to get into it.
Well, I mean, you guys could get some dark ideas in here too. So if
I mean, that guy's scary as shit looking. Dang it! Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you could see where the different fantasy and science fiction and perfect up your guys' alleys, definitely.
Oh yeah.
There is a vampire in the second one, so I'm
spoilers.
The vampire, not a vampire.
The vampire. Understood.
The vampire, which and that's the third one. So you get it's about the Dark Legend book series. It's different stories, but it basically follows the same character. So the little small guy was the bad guy. You got to start the story from someplace. It's about an ancient Japanese warrior that got frozen 400 years in feudal Japan and wakes up in modern day New York City. Feel bad for the city. They have enough problems. They don't need this maniac with a sword that you basically can't stop. And then he goes through I develop his character really well, and he goes through his upbringing and his past from the 16th century and not understanding the current century that we're in and stuff like that, and trying to modernize like an ancient language that that hasn't been spoken in Japan in 400 years,
Wow.
And different things. And then like he starts to modernize. I mean, in the first one, he basically tries to kill these cops that are trying, and then he saves one of the cops' future fiance. So it's like there's a lot of different twists and turns. And the guy on the cover that Ralph said, his name is Author. So you hear the hints of him in the first book and the second book. So as you can imagine, they're gonna fight.
Yeah,
Love it.
Love it.
They're gonna throw down.
So you hear stories of
Dark
him,
horses.
and the idea for the 6 Dark Horses came from Spider-Man. So Sinister Six, the 6 Dark Horses. So I have
Gotcha.
different enemies that wind up, trying to kill him in the first couple of stories, and then different demons that he winds up coming trying to kill him. So his whole plan was he molded and gave him power in the first story, and basically I'm not trying to spoil it, so I got to keep my tongue.
Yeah, I gotta read
Yep.
these books at some point, so
So-
please don't spoil them.
No, I'm not. So his mother and father did something to him so he was the parents' god, and went to him, and he's like, oh, this could be very interesting. So they brought him to him, and he did some things, and he's like, my curse is going to break soon. How can I mold him in my control and use him as my basically imperial leader, or kind of my guy that does the bad work? The only problem is that didn't exactly work.
Okay then.
Just saying. So like the end of the second one, I leave a cliffhanger, a very big cliffhanger. So the fact that like when I go to different cons, to it's like you left it hanging, which I did, and I didn't know what direction I was going, so that's why I left it.
Oh,
you know
all the time.
You know what is
That's
funny?
how I write
We
all
love a
my
J.J.
stories.
Abrams direction.
Yeah.
But like a lot of I'm in the middle of writing number 5, so I have number 4. So 4 and 5 are connected. Like I thought this was a really cool idea. So book 4 and 5 are connected. So it's a 2-part story. So basically the same villain is in he changes form 3 separate times. So he gets killed at the end of 4, then comes back in 5, and he dies 2 more times. So like he's a real badass, and obviously it's a big enough story that it has to take 2 books to write, so there's a lot of, but it's like I try to find ways of, you could have the same idea, but the premise of your idea could be a different idea, if you know what I mean. You have a different idea, like, all right, I destroyed the world 3 times. How can I destroy it again without making it look like I basically just had a demon army run over every continent on the face of the planet? Oh, let's do something like I'm jumping between timelines in the 5th one, and I'm trying to like have this one guy that changed 3 forms basically go into different timelines and start to see. You could definitely tell I'm in like an 80s, 70s kid from Back to the Future, watching that so many times. Gotta screw up the timeline if you do this, like we all get inspiration from different ideas. So that was like, all right, let me, instead of just having skeletons and demons overrun, how can I kind of change the concept of it? Okay, how can I change this? Now I've gone in so many different directions, but like when I don't write ideas down, I have basic notes on characters and who people are and stuff like that. That's the content of my writings in my books, just to develop the characters and have strong women and men in my stories. But it's just what the character, with the background, where they came from, stuff like that. Anything with the story, no clue.
I
I
am also a pantser. Yeah.
I sit down it's So this book series was like a book
I don't know
series
that
that
horse
I hand wrote in '96. So the fact that I, hand wrote it and then redid something with it in 2013, but like every time I sit down, like a lot of my close friends, like, oh, what's it going to be about? I don't know, you know, and I'm honest, like people like, how do you do that? Like it's a knack. I can't explain to different writers, young writers, or whatever you might be writing. I can't defy it. Like I just sit down and I'm like, all right, let me think of a story. I think like I'll come up with the title, you know, and like on the book, like it doesn't say 3, but like on the side of the book, hang on, let me see if I can show you. Yeah, let's see if you guys could see it. See, like
Right.
I started doing on the sides of the book, so they kind of know the order. So, but yeah, it's I just like doing, these type of things. Like I haven't, like my wife says, like, Frank, she's like, how do you come up with these ideas? I'm like, Jen, I just sit down at the computer or listen to Linkin Park or God or I just put on like iHeartRadio or just like, all right, I'm gonna come out, and usually I have to come up with the title for it because I can't write if I don't have like a direction that I'm gonna go.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Interesting.
I
have to
always
come up with titles.
I really struggle to write without a title. I
So
have
do
the
I.
same problem. Yeah.
It's and like um like this one, like the one writing, it's called The Dark Legend of Five, the Dark Shogun, like, and then the fourth one is called Legendary.
Mhm.
Like I don't like using revenge, or I have a hard time adapting to those type of, like, that's very common because it's been used so many freaking times. I want to do different titles, not revenge. I want to come with original titles because I think a title will catch a reader, you
Yeah.
know, like
100%.
that, like Six Dark Horse. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like the artwork compared, like Ralph had the pictures up, like that's a different coloring artwork from the other ones that look so dark, and then now this one is so bright, with the coloring. And now this badass that, man, I wouldn't want to see him walking down the street in New York or just anywhere. I'd be like,
Be a
but
little freaked out.
look at that. Look at the, like how bright that coloring
That
is.
guy,
Now
that
you,
guy in the
you could
background
just
is just
tell,
calling
like,
a cab.
He's just calling.
yeah,
He's just calling a cab right now.
he's calling an Uber.
They keep passing him by, and he's just screaming at him right now.
Well, listen, like some of you
Give
guys
me
are
a
from New
cab.
York and Queens. That's something you probably see in Queens, and New Yorkers were like, yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just someone
He's
just really
just-
mad.
He's just screaming because he just stepped in the weird trash juice that's all over the place. Ah, my
But,
shoe! Sorry.
like, just developing these stories that just, like, I have such a passion for, and like I could think of, I have like 2 more titles, which is crazy. My next one that I'm thinking about is attempting uh, Roman Roman gods, that are, because I've done so many demons. I got like, all right, what's another direction that I could come? So, like, I'm thinking about doing something like that, which is actually a cool idea. 2 different, areas, So, yeah, it's, like I could listen to a Limp Bizkit song, or I could go to or like I swear to God, on me and my wife's anniversary, we went out to Riverhead. They have a small aquarium out there, and they had I forgot his name, and the Olympian from the water. Yes, Poseidon. So they had a statue of Poseidon, and I'm like, I was looking, I'm like, that's not Aquaman. It was like my thing. And then she's like, I couldn't think of his name. And then I'm like, oh God. I'm like, no, it didn't. So it just pops in my head. Like I said, I don't have to be like focusing on a title. So then I came up with another one, War of Gods. Just I could be listening to the Limp Bizkit song. Yeah, I have another title that's on my phone that I'm like, damn, it's one of those things. If you just have that knack for, you can't explain it, right? To an aspiring writer or anybody who writes any type of content, you see something, especially if you're in tune to that, like how I am with the story, how you guys are so passionate about what you're doing as well, right? You're writing, you're creating the content, you're developing the story, you're developing characters, you're developing role playing and different things, and the littlest slightest detail means so much, right? To people. But then when you try to explain it to someone, they'll be like, all right, we don't understand. I said you
There's
have,
so
and
much
I always say,
context to it, though, right? Like you can't go through every bit of
but there is.
context to get to that point, too. So it's like trying to find the nice, succinct way to tell that to people who don't understand the world that you're in.
No, it's like I said, it's like one of those things. It's like, like people get in situations, right? And and people like, oh, why'd you make this decision? Why'd you make that decision, right? But until you're in that person's shoes, you can understand what each person's thinking. There could be 10 different, one situation, and people think 10 different ways, right? It's the same thing as a writer. You could, you guys could be like, hey, we'd like you to write for our stuff. Like, all right, your ideas and you guys working together, and then you throw a different writer in there, but you guys are on sync on how you guys are thinking, how you guys are developing, how you're developing the storylines, how you're developing the characters, how you're developing, the littlest and slightest detail, right? Which means so much in how you develop and how the strategy gets better and how the stories get better and how the characters develop and how the people in your games are going to be playing, right? And and stuff like that. That means everything. So it's like in a book, the slightest detail, because they're imagining something and putting that image in their heads, where you guys are putting it in, I don't even know how you guys do that, but but putting all that stuff together, which obviously I think creating a book is a lot easier than doing all that kind of stuff, because the time and effort that you guys put in is tough. When I tell people,
sorry, just as a primarily a writer, I've finished a couple novels. The novel's definitely harder just because you have to do it all yourself. It's like the connections are different. The connections are different at the tabletop for sure, and there's different skills. But
Yeah,
I'm only doing 1/6 of the work, so
that is true. But like to me, like it's just so, like when I write the Dark Legend, people are like, he's like, how do you do it? Like there are people, there are people that I see, and when I'm at different cons, and I'm like, oh, how long? Like I have people like message me and try to ask me my opinions on certain things, and it's like, oh, how far are you writing? I'm like, yeah, I'll probably be done with book 5 in like 4 or 5 weeks, probably by early November. They're like, how did you do that? How is that even possible? People have a hard time writing 2,000 words, let alone when I'm sitting down and writing 5,000 in 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think it's the funniest thing in the world, because people always, I know you as writers, there's always somebody that comes up to you and goes, hey, I want to do what you do. What do I do? And then I give them the real answer, which is you write. You just sit down and you write. And then they look at you like you're gatekeeping. I'm like, no, you don't understand. That process of sitting down and writing is not as simple as it sounds.
Yeah.
You need to be able to sit yourself down and write, because if you can't do that, you're not going to ever finish your book.
The best piece of advice that I ever got for writing, I used to, he was a writer for the Muppets named Joe Bailey. And he would come and have Thanksgiving and not New Year's, sorry, 4th of July, I would say. One of the funniest dudes I ever met. A real like ball buster from Brooklyn. Was crazy that he wrote Sesame Street. Holy crap. And he did the Muppet Show as well. And what he told me was the best piece of advice he ever got was all writing is rewriting.
Yeah.
And he gave this really amazing story where he was writing for some advertisement agency, and it was like some cigarette commercial. And he was like, I don't know how to write this. And his writer was like, well, do you know it's some like passage in the Bible that's like some long speech. I can't remember what it was. I really wish I could, but the writer was like, just write that. And he goes, what? And he's like, yeah, write that and then start replacing words in it.
Yep.
So
it's that simple. Yeah.
Exactly. Just write what you know in the moment and then rewrite the fucking shit.
Exactly.
Wow.
Doubled up right there. I'm sorry. Doubled up.
I cursed ages ago, and we all cursed a bunch of times.
I think I was like 2 seconds in, and I already cursed. I got a real problem with it.
Our average is low, though. The average per minute is real low.
I've gotten better. Maybe.
So you did just do a double, so
yes. Don't point out my flaws.
Exactly. One thing now. Jesters, tell the people where they can find you. That way they can go looking for you guys. Go for it.
You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just search for RP Jesters. You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, on X, or whatever it's called now. And
we haven't been on X for a bit, I will say.
All right, that's fair because
we got locked out of the account. It won't let us.
Did we get locked out?
Well, I haven't been able to access it. But we're on, Threads, Insta, TikTok.
Threads is where it's at.
What?
Yeah, I've been posting my dangerous rhetoric on there all the time.
Your dangerous
under
rhetoric.
RP Jesters, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also find us on our website at rpjesters.com. And hopefully on October 1st, you can find us on our Patreon, which is just going to be patreon.com/rpjesters.
And I'll say it's worth it to follow us on all those places because we post a lot of different types of things. We've got cool, like we got clips every week. We've got one-offs like the music video on the website. We have some bonus content, little short stories and things. And we're cooking up other ideas for things to post on our socials for season 2. So check us out everywhere. A lot of stuff, cool stuff.
There is going to be that exclusive Patreon stuff as well. So
more bonus content
on that. There's going to be more bonus content specifically for Patreon only.
Go listen exclusively to our Frozen Dark and Christmas episodes.
We're going to make those exclusive. We're just going to lock Sky behind the paywall.
Don't put me behind a paywall.
I get the closet, you get the paywall.
That's not fair. That's too funny.
I gotta tell you, folks, they're really good at keeping the information flowing for you guys. And their Instagram is excellent. A lot of the stuff you learned today, you probably would have seen already on their Instagram.
Go get a Lumpesque shirt.
We also have a bunch of merch on our website, and hopefully we're going to be adding some more of that soon.
The merch is
it's comfy.
I know I'm biased. These are the best shirts I own.
Really nice shirts.
So really soft and nice. Like they're genuine. Like I have a ton of merch shirts from a lot of different things I love, and ours are the best. Like it's just the manufacturer we have with Fourth Wall, like they do great work.
Those Jurassic Park ones that we got for July 6th Park, those things are soft.
Those are comfy, but these are softer, I think.
All right.
You have folks, go check them out. These guys are fantastic. They are great.
Don't put us down, Sky.
It's always important.
Keeping us humble.
I gotta say, like as a t-shirt person, I love what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. My favorite. Not just.
I didn't realize we were wearing the same.
I do love that we're wearing the same one. I was already wearing this today, like unironically.
Same.
Poking up over the top.
I don't have a Lumpesque shirt.
I don't got a Lumpesque shirt.
No, get one.
I'm about to buy 2 more just because I want to make sure I have ones for the future.
And folks, I made it easier for you guys. I put all the links into the comment section, so you don't go, Ralph, I'm lazy. I don't want to go find this stuff. So you got no excuses.
Thank
go
you.
Get it. It's right there. Press the buttons. Go. And Frank, where can they find you?
You can find me at frankdestefanoauthor.com is my website. And you could find me on Instagram at frank.destefano. You know, we saw how we spell my name, Destefano. You know, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, which I'm rarely on. I think I've logged in like 6 months ago.
Nobody's there anymore.
You know, I
It's
don't
fine.
go.
Elon's running
No,
that
I
to the
go on
ground.
Instagram. Instagram, I find my most interactive with you know, fans and stuff like that. So I definitely find that is the place to go. But I'm going to be at Fright Reads Book Festival this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. You can find the handsome looking guy, you know. So the writer, you know, not scary looking people. You know, on the cover, but I'll be there. You know, I'll be in Maryland. You know, and you know, and maybe I'll cheer on the Baltimore to kind of beat up on the Yankees. I'm not a Yankee fan, so I'm sorry to all the New Yorkers.
It's all about the
team-
Mets.
No, I'm not even. I'm not even a Met fan. I'm a Cardinal fan.
What?
Hey.
Yeah, I just got all the love.
Everyone's like,
What? Hold on. What?
all
What
right,
Cardinal?
folks. Let's see. I got a couple things to say here. Commander Sorcier is not here today, but the Misadventures of Buddy and Friends is ready to go, folks. If you ever wanted to have read stories about a campaign where everybody's just rolling one, this is a story for you. These guys don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's going on. I can't even call them heroes, but they still get the job done. And if you like those types of stories, go check it out. And of course, Matta does all the art herself. She does the lettering. She does everything. You know, my favorite line from her is when she goes, "I do all this work and I can barely pay for myself."
Classic.
But this is fun. As you can see back here, I have my Misadventures of Buddy and Friend. It's a great little D&D type book. And right now, that little splatter page you see right there, those are the covers to each issue. She had 6 of those. She only has 1 left. I already got mine, so yeah. So go check it out. It's the Misadventures of Buddy and Friend. And I'm telling you, folks, we all have that campaign where somebody's just rolling one. This is it.
It's usually me.
Usually me. And of course, Monday we will be starting off our Spooktacular. And we will have Phil Russert here with his Arcane Syndicate and his classic monsters doing all this beautiful stuff. And of course, we will have our Detective Mummy himself, Bixby Grant, here talking all about his beautiful book as well. And other Spooktacular guests showing up to kick off the Spooktacular October month.
Woo!
Woo!
I think that is everything.
Woo! Thanks for having us, Ralph.
Anytime,
Right.
guys. Anytime you guys want to come on and geek out, because you guys geek out great. So
You let it geek out.
It is an experience.
Good morning, everyone.
Mr.
Yeah.
Nat, are you there?
Night.
Good
I've been
morning.
here the whole time.
All right, Mr.
You
Nat.
were wondering about the dinner table.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with the dinner table? Why is there furniture in the call? I've been meaning to ask that whole time.
I mean, if it helps,
What the fuck?
I'm a vending machine in a current campaign.
Yeah.
It does, actually. Thank you.
He is a
I didn't
vendor.
what do you
realize
vend?
Table could talk. That freaked me out.
I
won't
vend
lie.
anime girls by launching them with Eldritch Blast.
Okay. Okay.
What the fuck? Where's that?
If you would like, you can check out the current podcast. I'm sure
Can't
Ralph
tell.
will link in the description or in the comments section, or DM you personally.
That's true. I am that intrusive.
That dinner table will slide right into your DMs. There's a hot
Exactly.
meal on that table.
Yeah, I think
What
that's
the
everything.
fuck? Sorry.
Don't worry about it. This is the kind of show we have.
I'm the table you guys have been surrounding.
Table, brought
whole
to you
time.
by
Yeah.
Oh, you're the
Odin.
table we've been podcasting at, of
Exactly.
course.
Exactly.
Oh my God. You've seen a lot of things.
I used to be the editor.
Yep. Nat is our other editor, or our main editor, because I got tired of doing that shit. All right, folks. With that, we shall see you Monday for our spooktacular beginning. And on this show, when it ends, I just press the button, and where it stops,